create a video that is about to learn that language, learn English language. So people want to learn this language, but they don't know how they can start to learn this language. For learning this language, first you have to start thinking. Initially, when you are a beginner, so you will think in Hindi and you have to try to convert in English your sentence, your own sentences. You don't go to others, you don't think in English initially, but if you're capable, if you are able to think in English, because every people like who are the beginner, so they just think in Hindi and their mother tongue, whatever their mother tongue. So because my mother tongue is Hindi, so I start to think in Hindi initially when I begin to start learning this language. But when I just complete 1 month, after completing 1 month to think in converting in English my mother tongue, then second month I was thinking only in English, how it's come in my way. So for that I have to just listen to others and whatever they want to say, so I just try to convert in English. That way I think how to make a sentence and what is the right sentence and what is the right words we have to put in which context. For that I have to think first. First I start to thinking in Hindi to English. So how it's come, how I started. So for that first I listen to my children's, my family, my husband. So when they are saying something, they are speaking something, so I just try to convert in English. Sometimes I will be wrong, I would be wrong, sometimes I would be right. So for correcting me, I just go for the ChatGPT and whatever the sentence is I'm making, I go for that. I said to them, please make a sentence. If I am doing wrong, I was a bit confused about that. Whatever the sentence I am making, that is right or that is wrong, because nobody is surrounding to us who makes me correct. So for that I just go for ChatGPT and if I am lacking, if I am missing something, for completing, for doing the right, I just go and say to them like my children say something, if I want to say in English to them, so that time I go for ChatGPT and ask to them what is the sentence of the English meaning, what is the how to create a sentence in English, that Hindi to English. So that initially 1 month I took a help from the ChatGPT. After taking a help, I try to talk with my children in the same way, because at my home nobody is here, nobody will judging me and nobody would judging me every steps, because it's a when you start to learn this language, so it's a baby step. So first you have to think to, you have to come out from your comfort zone. Initially it will be overwhelming, but when you come out from your comfort zone, so it's take a lots of time, but it's depend on your mind thought, depend on your how you are thinking. So for that you have to think like you want to learn this language. So for learning this language you have to start to take a initiative, you have to take a baby step. I do a same thing. If you want to learn this language, so you also do the same thing. If in your family nobody is surrounding, you can talk to them. So you have to think yourself. If you think, like if you are thinking in Hindi, so you just convert in English also. By that way you can also start speaking. Whatever the sentence come in your mind, whatever the things in your mind, you have to convert in English. Because when you convert in English, so you think how to speak, and when you got a chance, so you have to try to speak with the co-learners. When you are speaking with the co-learners, so your fluency will be improved. Without speaking, nobody make a fluency. For making a fluency, you have to work a lot. because when I start my journey, so I indulge myself for 2 months in this language. I'm not talking in Hindi with anyone else. I'm just thinking about only to learn this language. So somehow I just got so many opportunity. Everyone knows that if you have will, so ways automatically came on your side. So it's depend on you how will you make your ways. If you want to do something, if you have a willing something, so definitely base come in your sight. So that is I am doing. And then initially 1 month you have to work on this. If you work on this, then next month, in the second month, you have to, whatever the sentence you are talking with someone, with your family, if nobody is there, you have to talk with yourself, you have to talk with the co-learners, you have to take some topic. Initially it will be overwhelming, but second month you can see, you have seen there is lots of changes in your thinking, mind of thinking. So when I was thinking on second month, so I was start to think in English. How it's come? In a first month, I just start to listening a animation story. Because animation story is a basic language. They are using the basic language. So that is also help a lot to you, because first we have to learn the basic formation of your sentences, basic articulation. Because without articulation, how will you express your thought? I'm also doing the so many mistakes while communication, but it will be overcome by the time when I'm using this language continuously. I have seen when I start to do the communication, that time I'm doing so many mistakes, but now I'm gradually remove my mistakes. So second month I was thinking only in English. When it's come in my mind to think in Hindi, then I think no, I have to stick myself. First I have to think only in English. Then I have to think only in English. And then I was thinking, so I just try to read, listen, whatever the listening I try to incorporate, that I try to use also while communication. So while communication, I try to incorporate new words, because I collect lots of vocab first. Because if you have a good vocab, then you don't think too much, because you know when you are speaking, so that time you know what word you have to say. Now it's come on your formation, how to create a good sentence, how to create because when you are talking, when you are speaking, that time sentence formation is must. For formation the sentence, you have to think how to create the sentence. So when you are thinking, this automatically come in your mind, you have to create a sentence. So that way you know and how to create. So initially when you are listening to someone, that time you have to try to think what they have said. Like that, we can take an example. When we was kid, so that time we listen a lots of story from our parents, from other ones else, our families, and other memories were also there. So we have to think about that. Like we have to think about whatever you had done in a day. So you have to think what we had done in a day, what we had done last days. So that time you have to think of that. Then if you think, then you have to speak about it. Speak. For the speaking, how will you find the co-learners? How will you, from whom you will talk? So for that you have to talk with the ChatGPT, because I also start to doing the same thing. I start to talk with the ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is also help a lot. While I am talking with the ChatGPT, I share to them, I want to talk my daily routine. What I had done yesterday, what I had done last 2 days back. So that way I'm just talking with the ChatGPT. And whatever I said to them, please correct my all sentences, please make a refinery version. So whatever the refinery version they have given to me, I just read it out loud. That way I have to start learning, start thinking also. Because when you think, it means you are learning. When you think in English, it means you are on right path. because if you are not thinking in English, it means you are not in the right path. Because when you are getting the new words, so you can also think of that, how to use that word in my communication, in my sentence, in my talking. So for that you have to think, because without thinking how will you create the sentence? So that is why we have to think a lot. The second month I was thinking in English only, I don't think in my mother tongue. And after thinking whatever the new words I learned, I just think how to create the right sentence of this. Sometimes I also doing the I created wrong sentences, so I go for the chat GTP and ask to them how to create the sentence to use this word. So that way I used new words and I also learned new words. That is the good way. I would say a new thing also. So how I learned a new word, because it's too difficult to learn a new word, because I learned so many words while creating the story. When I started my journey, so whenever I got a new words, I go there, I went to chat GTP and I just say to them, I took only 5 words from my diary and I shared to them chat GTP. So please make a small story and use that word. And sometimes I try to say them, you have to use 2 to 3 times that word and create a good story. That way when they are giving a good story, that time I just read it out, that story. When I read it, so I find it out there is good story. In that way I am just reading out something, because without reading how will you to make a right sentence? So I went there and I try to read the story and I try to use the new words also, how to use the new words and how they are using the new words in a story. Then I read the story, then I was thinking how to use the word. So I also try to incorporate that word, because story is the good way to learn a new word. When you are listening to others and when you reading something, that time you are also getting new word. So that word, because it's also familiar with you, when you are reading some stories, that words is familiar with you. So that is why when you are listening to others, when you are listening any podcast, when you are listening to others news also, that time you easily recognize what is the meaning of the word. So that way I learned so many words. So first you have to try to create a story, because story is the right way to learn a new word. And talking is also more important. On the other hand, so we have to figure it out how to create a story and how to learn the new word. So for learning the new word, I also doing the same thing. And then I learned the new words by the creating the story. And when I got a chance, so I try to listen to others speakers. If they are speaking something, so that time I listen a conscious way. Initially when I was starting, so that time not listening to others, I was only thinking. Because when you are thinking, it means you are not listening to others. So listening is also a most important. Listening is also must for everyone. If you are learning this language, when you are observing to others, that time you also get a new ideas from them. Because without getting the idea, how will you speak to others? Like we can take an example of that. When we are getting a topic in a group, so initially what we do, like when you are learning this language initial level, so that time we just think only, like we just thinking how to talk, how to say our expression, how to say our thoughts about this topic. We are not listening to others. That thing is happening with everyone, I must say. So first we have to listen to others, of the others speaker. When we are listening, so we are also getting the new ideas. So when we are getting the new ideas, then you can easily express your thought. So that is also the good way. So listening is the good observing to learn this language, because when you are observing to others, then you get a great idea. It's also a good things to create a story also. When you have something, so you can create a good way, you can use the new words also, you can learn the new words from others. Because while I'm reading a new story, that time I'm also familiar this word, but I don't know how to use that word. So while I'm listening to others speaker, that time I recognize, I easily find it out that word, how they are using that word. So I also try to use that word in my communication. So that way I start to using the new words, and I try to use to listen and to use to new words in my communication. So that is my second month. And now I am talking about my third month. So third month I'm also talking in other platform. So actually they are giving the topic also, they were giving a topic also. But what thing is happen, when they were giving a topic, so they just express their story also. So from their story you got the ideas also, because I also got a new ideas when I was talking on episode and platform. So there I'm getting a good ideas how to think, how to you can create your thoughts also. How could you create your thought? For creating a good thought, first we have to listen what they want to say, what is their story. When you are getting their story, definitely you also think I have some story of that. So I was also doing the same thing. I just try to listen to others, and then I was thinking our story. So we are getting 5 minutes over there on episode. So I try to listen to their expression, their thoughts. Then I will think I have to say, I must say about my story now. So I try to listen them, then I create my thoughts also. So that way, this is my second month. I have absorbed lots of things. Now third month came. So that time I just try to talk with the co-learners. But I think when whatever the efforts I put for 2 months, that not that like I would say that not much efforts I have to put on the third month, because I know how to use this language, how to speak this language, how to talk any topic. So that I'm getting the ideas. So third month it's a leniency way I'm working on my skills, because I talk with the co-learners. I'm also doing the mistake because it's a language. It's not a one-day journey. It's not a one-go journey. It will take time. So it's not a overnight journey also. When you work on the any skills, so when you are using any skills continuously, definitely you will be a master of the skills. So that is also the skills. How we learn our mother tongue? By the listening, by the speaking. Nobody write in a childhood. When I was learning my mother tongue, that time we were not writing. But when we are talking about to the writing something, that time we have to read a lot. Because for reading, by the reading, you get the idea how to write something. So that is why we have to go for the reading while for writing anything. So third month I was thinking now I have to connect it with the YouTubers. Initially I was thinking like I'm not good at in English, so might be like if I connect it to the other co-learners, how to talk with them and how to communicate with them. But yeah, I got confidence third month. I'm talking with the co-learners. I try to talk with the YouTubers also. Before that, I was thinking like how I talk with the YouTubers, because I don't know how to speak. I don't know. Initially, I was thinking like how to hold the conversation. I have seen many people like they are the YouTuber. They just create a good content on their YouTube, but how to hold their conversation for a 30 minutes, for 45 minutes, for a 1 hour. So I'm a little bit confused about that. How to hold our conversation for a long. So when I was listening to the YouTubers, when I was listening any podcast, that time I have seen there is the two ways communication, because language is the two ways communication, not a one way communication. So when you are talking with someone else, so they are also talking something. They have some thoughts. You have also the thoughts. So we have to express to each other like that. So that way we can hold the communication. And you have some questions also when you are holding any communication. So that time you have some questions. If you have, automatically comes in our mind when we are talking any topic and any communication. Like when I start to communication to any other YouTuber, that time I was thinking how they are holding the conversation. But I think when you start to talk with any co-learners, YouTubers, so that time we don't find the question actually. Whatever the conversation to do anything, do anyone, that time we are automatically find the question, what question we have raised, and they are also raising some questions. So that way our conversation going long, and we can hold the good conversation with them. So for that you have to find it out the keywords also. Like if someone is speak about their introduction part, their journey about something else, so that time you got a something, you can ask the question from them about that. If you don't have any question, if you are not prepared for anything else for doing the conversation, so first you have to find the keywords. So what is the keywords? So I would say when you are going for the group communication, for group communication you have to find it out the keywords. Like if you got any topic, like we can take an example of the topic patience. Okay, we got a only one word, patience. So first we have to think what is the patience, why patience is important, where patience is used, without patience how will you react. So that way you have to find some keywords. When you are getting the keywords, so definitely you will speak about that. If you don't have a keyword, so how will you speak? Because sometimes people are losing and people are missing something, are missing. Like they, when they are speaking any topic, so they forgetting what they have to say. So they are fumbling a lot, and they are speaking something, but they don't know how to speak about that. So first you have to think about the keywords. First you got 4 to 5 keywords from any topic. It's any word if you are getting. So first you have to think about the keywords. Whatever the keywords you got, then you have to make a sentence of that using the keywords for making the sentence. When you creating the sentence, then you have to express your thought. First way is that. Second way, you have to listen to others. If they are saying something, definitely you will get the new ideas also. Because everyone have a mind, everyone have a thing. And one more thing, if you sometimes it's happen when we don't have a good knowledge, enough knowledge, enormous knowledge. When we don't have a enormous knowledge about anything, so that time we have to think a lot, because we don't have a knowledge. So first you have to read it out about that. If you have a good knowledge, if you have a ample knowledge, if you have a enormous knowledge, definitely you can express a good way, because you have a good knowledge. Like I have a experience of the financial market, right? So I can express about that very good way, because I have a good knowledge. If I don't have a knowledge, how can I express my thought? So for expressing your thought anyways, any things, any topic, so you have to think. And if you don't have a knowledge, so try to listen to others. When you are listening to others, then you can easily express your thought. If you don't have a words, you go for the chat GTP, you go for the readings books. You have to try to reading something. That we also get the ideas how to speak and what is the about that. So that is why everyone should think of that. Okay, so that video is about to how start my journey, how in 3 months I learned that language. Now I'm on this level, I can express my thought in easy way. But yeah, I'm still learning. So that is why I created my YouTube channel. So people also learn by that how I start my journey. So within a 3 months, I am here to great communication with the co-learners. Sometimes I create a solo video also. When I start my journey, that time I'm just creating a story, like 2 or 3 minutes story. First I listen from the YouTube, and then I try to narrate that story on my camera. That is I am doing. Only 3 minutes I can speak there only on camera. But yeah, now I have a lots of word, I have a lots of expression, I have a lots of think. So that is why I am expressing my thought here. So that is about to the my English journey. So anyone want to learn this language, so please connect me. And I'm also taking a classes nowadays, how I start, so you also can be start. So if you want to learn this language, so please connect me. So thank you so much for watching this video. So you will stay tuned with us. Definitely I will create a good video how to see the picture, and you have to create your own story. So that is called the Montessori picture. There is the silent thing, but you have to saw the picture, and you have to create your own story. So next video I will be back with the next video. So thank you.